You know, you use them every single day, and you probably don't even think about it. They're kind of like the secret language behind your bank account, the weather, and, well, so much more. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify integers.
Okay, so let's start with a little bit of a puzzle. What could freezing cold weather and the money in your bank account possibly have in common? I mean, they seem totally unrelated, right? But they're actually connected by this surprisingly simple and really powerful mathematical idea.
And the answer is, they can both go below zero. Think about it for a second. On a really freezing day, the thermometer doesn't just stop at zero, it plunges right into the negatives. And, if you spend more money than you have, your bank account can do the exact same thing. This whole concept of less than nothing is really the key to understanding integers.
So this whole idea of positive and negative values, it has a name. So let's get right to it. What exactly is an integer?
Okay, so at its core, it's pretty simple. An integer is basically any whole number. That means it can be positive, negative, or zero. The two key things to remember are whole, so we're not talking about fractions or decimals, and opposites. For every positive number out there, like say 3, there's a perfect mirror image on the other side of 0, -3.
And the family of integers is just huge. It includes all the positive numbers, all the negative numbers, and of course, 0 itself. They can be pretty small, or they can be absolutely massive, stretching out to infinity in both directions. The one single most important rule: no fractions, no decimals, just whole numbers.
So if we look inside this big family of integers, you'll find there are really 3 distinct groups. Let's get to know them.
You know, the number line is the absolute perfect way to visualize this. Just imagine 0, sitting right there in the center, acting like a mirror. To its right, you've got all the positive numbers stretching out forever. And to its left, you have all their negative reflections, also stretching out into infinity. So, breaking it down, on one side of 0, we have the positive integers. These are the simple counting numbers we all learn when we're kids. Then, on the other side, are the negative integers. They're exact opposites. And right there, holding down the center, is 0, which is in a very special category all by itself.
I just love this way of thinking about it. 0 really is the special one. It's not positive, it's not negative. It's the pivot point, the origin. It's the balancer for the entire number line. It really is the center of this numerical universe.
You know, sometimes the most important thing isn't just knowing what something is, but also what it isn't. To really get this down, we need to be super clear about which numbers get left out of the integer club.
All right, let's put this rule to the test. -4? Yep, that's an integer. How about 65? For sure. But what about 1/2? Nope, that's a fraction. 5.6? Not a chance. That's a decimal. See? The rule is simple. Integers have to be whole numbers. This mind map is a really great way to pull everything together. You can see the main definition right there, the different types, some real examples, and, just as important, what gets left out, right? The fractions and the decimals. It's the whole concept in one quick snapshot.
Okay, we've got the theory down. Now for the payoff. Why does any of this actually matter? Let's circle back to where we started and see integers at work in the real world.
So just look at a thermometer. It's basically a number line, but standing up vertically. When it's hot, the temperature climbs up into the positive integers. And when it gets really cold, it drops right past that 0 mark into the negative integers. It's a perfect everyday example of this whole idea in action.
And you know what? The logic is exactly the same when it comes to money. The cash you have in your account, that's a positive integer. But debt on a credit card, well, that's a negative integer. It's a value that's gone below 0. So, the crucial point, the big takeaway is this. Integers are the language we use to talk about any situation that has two opposite directions from some kind of central starting point. Think about it. Above and below sea level, forward and backward steps, profit and loss, even going up and down in an elevator. They all rely on integers.
So here's one last thought I want to leave you with. We've seen how integers work for temperature and for money. But what else in your world has a 0 point with opposites on either side? Once you start looking for them, I promise you, you'll start seeing integers absolutely everywhere.